Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Transportation and Traffic Safety Advisory Committee, again, good evening. I have approximately 6:05 p.m. Item number one, call to order, roll call. I have Adrian Dominguez present, Mr. Armando Garza, absent, Mr. Fred Dickey,
Present.
Mr. Jeffrey Puig,
Present.
Mr. Ciro Gonzalez,
Present.
Mrs. Karen Gaitan. I believe Ms. Gaitan is on, if I'm not mistaken. Erica, Ms. Gaitan is on? I don't know if she can hear us.
She is logged in.
Hasn't gone through yet. Hasn't gone through yet.
Right now?
It says she's logged in.
Ms. Gaitan, good evening. Are you present for the record?
Good evening, committee, and Mr. Ricky. This is Omar Vasquez, the IT director. Ms. Gaitan is online. She is using the chat feature, stating that she is present, but she is unable to speak at this time.
Okay.
I do not know if that is something that can be accepted or not, but she is unable to speak, but she is chatting.
Okay. I honestly don't know if
How do we?
We would need her for
Passing
quorum.
a motion.
Correct. Yes, is she?
As long as she can comment, I think we'd
Correct.
be
Is
okay.
she able to vote even if it's, even if she can
yes,
comment?
yeah, she by the chat.
She'll
feature,
text
she's
it,
able to
she'll
vote,
text
yeah.
approve.
Okay, great.
I guess for some reason we lost the communication. Audrey.
No, she's unable to speak. She
Okay.
did say presently that she's unable to speak, but
Okay.
she is there, and she is here in the meeting, and she'll be available
Okay.
through the chat.
Great, perfect. Okay, we have quorum. Okay, item number two, general citizen communication. Erica, do we have anybody to speak today, this evening?
We don't have no.
No one, okay. Item number three, approval of minutes from June 9th of 2021. I believe Erica sent those out to us via email. Gentlemen, and Ms. Gaitan, did you have a chance to review them? Is there a motion to
Yeah,
approve?
I'll make that motion to
We have a
approve them as
motion
is.
on, to
I'll
approve. Second by Mr. Dickey, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item number four, communication. Item number one, update on the downtown parking advisory group meeting.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Hello.
committee. For the record, my name is Priscilla Iglesias. I'm the executive director for Laredo Main Street, but I also serve on the downtown parking advisory group for this committee. So I just wanted to give you all a brief report of what the subcommittee has been working on. We had a meeting on July 8th that consisted of stakeholders in the downtown area. And we had about 35 to 40 people that were in attendance that day. Is that? No? Okay. And so what we did, just to give you a little rundown of how the meeting was run, we had the 10 recommendations that the parking study recommended to this committee, and we had them posted. We had every stakeholder that was there review them, go over them, and then we opened it up kind of like an open forum, asking for questions and feedback regarding each of the recommendations. And so there's three things that really stood out from the feedback that we got back from the group. One of them was the parking meters, the time, the amount, and the hot zones. So what we were able to determine that night was that in the recommendations, there was a request to extend parking time and increase the amount on some of the meters in the hot zones. But what we were able to find out is that at least the time period was across the board. So on every parking meter, you'll see that on the parking meter, it says until 9 p.m. So that's something that we want to review. That's something that we want to revisit. We had the traffic department director there, and he was, in conversation with us, and he was there giving us updates on work that has already been done on some of the items. But that was one that I think that we should really look at, review, and see if there's room for improvement there. Number two, also on that note, is also reviewing the hot zones. We have to remember that this study was done prior to COVID. Our world economy has changed since then, especially here locally, especially since our border has been closed, our bridges. So I think that's something that this committee can continue to work on and see if those are still actual hotspots and zones. Number two would be public-private partnerships. There is a lot of private parking lots in the downtown area that are not being utilized, and we think that there's an opportunity that the city can start to open those conversations and start seeing, what kind of partnerships can happen so that these parking lots are opened and are able to be utilized better than what they are now. So that was number two. And number three, which I think was the biggest one that we heard, was parking for employees is a huge thing for anyone that works in the downtown area. We took a survey, and from that survey, they're telling us that they spend over $200 a month on parking meters or parking to work in the downtown area. So, when we talk about deterrence to come in downtown, even to work in the downtown area, you're already faced with something like an out-of-pocket expense that you're gonna have to incur working in the downtown area. So one of the things that kind of came up was maybe a parking pass that an employee can prove, and again, this will have to go into more research and more details, but where they can prove employment at a specific establishment, and they can pay a certain amount of dollars every month to have this parking pass that they can park. And we determined that it would be safe to say not in the hot zones, because obviously the hot zones are the areas that customers really tend to park at. So those were some of the, I guess, the top three things that really were popping out at us. The takeaway for me, at least, was that it's gonna be a disservice if we go before city council and say all of these 10 recommendations, let's just pass them forward. I think that each one has a lot of detail that we need to look at and feedback and review, that this will take, step by step. I think by starting by these top three things, because these are kind of like what everyone was really, hyped about, really having a big concern to business owners, stakeholders, and visitors, customers that come down to the downtown area. So that was one. I think that, again, going back, reviewing these individually versus a blanket recommendation, I think would be wise of this committee to do. And the advisory group can continue to have these meetings so that we can get you all that feedback. I did want to mention that Ms. Karen Gaitan was at the meeting. Also, Mr. Ciro Gonzalez was also there. And if I miss anyone else, I'm sorry, but I was with a lot of people that night. And then I did want to also mention that District 7 and District 8 Councilwomen Vanessa Perez and Alisa Cigarroa were also in attendance. They heard the feedback from the community, and I feel like we all have the same sentiment regarding the parking study. So I just wanted to bring that forward to you all. Our subcommittee will move forward however this committee decides or chooses to. But as I mentioned, I think if we can go through these one by one and make really good decisions on this, I think that would be the best way to make everyone happy, right? We know that the parking traffic department has to fund their department. We understand that, and we want to find a common ground that will also encourage people to come to the downtown area, that parking is not, something that deters them. And number two, working. If we're deterring people from working in the downtown area, that's just gonna, bring it down, you know, even more. So there's some opportunity here, and I just wanted to present that to you all.
I've got some
Absolutely, yes,
comments.
please, go ahead. Yes.
First of all, I want to commend you. What a great function it was, a great turnout. The collaboration between all the people that were there, all the downtown folks, the residents and the store owners and stuff like that. Good job, good feedback back and forth. And I agree with you. I think we could have been there all night.
Yeah.
We really could have been there all night. And it was just a lot of stuff going on. And I think we came up, or when we discussed it right after the meeting, was let's pick the 3 top things like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
I think that the top 3 things that you mentioned were spot on, and let the subcommittee and this committee move forward with those 3 to present something to city council.
Yeah.
The biggest one I heard was the parking, the employee parking. You know, here they're paying their employees minimum wage, and they're having to spend $200 of parking.
On top of that, the tickets
And
I've
on top of
received,
that, the
because they're not,
tickets.
right now, unfortunately, the capabilities are not there to just, you know, add time from an app, which I know that the department is working on, and we'll eventually be able to get there, but right now, these are the immediate things, and those tickets add up. I mean, if you don't pay it within the next, you know, a certain amount of days, it goes to $20, $30, and then now you
adds
might
up,
get your
really.
car booted just for coming to work, you know, so that was a huge one, yes.
And that's what the employers were saying. It's hard for them to get people to apply for these jobs, 1, because there's no parking, and 2, if there is parking, they're getting tickets on top of that, because they're having to leave their place of business because they're only allowed to put 2 hours on the parking. So if you got somebody there 8 hours, they're having to leave that place of business to go put coins into the meter. So I think, you know, I don't know what our next step would be, and I guess we could vote on here, would, you know, to take these 3 items. I don't know if you could repeat them, or you got all 3, if we got all 3, and move forward on that. Yeah.
And I would like to just comment. I think that the study has a lot of valuable information in it. So it's not just something that's like, oh no, that doesn't work and let's move on. No, I think that has a lot of valuable information. You know, we have some experts that really looked into and dissected our issues that we have regarding parking. But I do think that, again, after COVID and talking to stakeholders who are the ones that are actually going to be affected by all of this is really a crucial point to that. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Right.
Well, I think at this point, what we would need to do is have your subcommittee or the subcommittee bring the actual action items, because you mentioned things like parking meters in the hot zones, increasing fees and decreasing fees and giving credits and all that. But I think what this committee would have to do is we'd have to get some specifics. Because if you just said, if you're in general, we'd like to do this, well, we can't take a general to the council. We need to take some specific items. So if your committee was able to put specific items together and bring that to us for a review and consideration, then we could take action on behalf of the committee and our group as well.
Yes, of course.
Any recommendations, for example, recommendations, and then we can have a possible action on those recommendations that you can present to us moving forward. Yes. Please go ahead, Mr. Dickey.
I've got questions, you know, but I think some of these are very good, but I've got questions. And I wonder, I modeled my mentor, I mean, what are they doing about employee parking in cities our size? Because we're not at San Antonio. You know, what are they doing there? Maybe some of that could be shared by the employer. Oh, can't afford to pay. You know, but there's got to be a happy medium where everybody's happy. We've got to find a consensus where it works
And that's kind
for
of what
everyone.
we're dovetailing on.
Yeah.
Dovetailing on that is to bring specific items to the committee with items that you say this will work. This is our recommendation, and we'd like to push this forward.
Yes, of course. And I'm sorry.
One other quick comment, because I've noticed this for years. Underneath, between Santa Lucila and Satety on that overpass near downtown, I mean, I know this, it's state property, but I mean, it could be used by the city for employees and maybe let them shuttle on downtown. I mean, it's just an idea. It's lots of parking, and it could be made available. And you know, hey, you got a place to park, and just catch a shuttle. You know, I don't know what it charge or if there'd be a charge or not, but there's got to be a consensus somewhere between all of us.
Yeah.
You all know the problems better than we do, but you also know the solutions.
Correct.
And that's what we're looking for, is to bring the solutions to us, to be able to move that concept forward for you.
Yes, of course. As I mentioned, today was just kind of a recap, so you all know the work that has been done since then. And I just wanted to give you all the top three. I just wanted to make sure that this committee was okay with us kind of breaking them down versus just going all at it all at once. And I think that that would be the smartest way to go. And
I think that's great,
and if
yes.
you all allow me, we'll start working on these three, and we'll get you guys some concrete recommendations.
Recommendations. When is your next meeting, Ms. Iglesias?
We haven't scheduled it yet. We were just pending to see how this committee was feeling and kind of, checking how you guys were. But we can have something up in the next week, 2 weeks, so we can start moving on this. That way we can get,
If it doesn't work for all, it doesn't work at all, period. It's gotta work for all, or it won't work at all.
yeah. And we understand the balance, right? There's always, so you gotta give, you gotta take, and that's what Main Street's position is to present the issues to both the public sector and the private sector and say, look, there's an issue here. We know that both of you want to pull this way, but let's meet in the middle, and that's kind of what my job is to do here, so.
So one more
so-
comment on that.
Yes.
Excuse me. So on that, would we want, on the 3 points that you bring, would we want to have another meeting with all the folks from the downtown area and present those three and say, this is what we're moving forward on? Is that something?
I think if they can provide recommendations on these three items to us, and then we can vote
Then we
as a
can vote.
committee.
Okay,
and-
on their behalf.
On their behalf,
Yeah,
correct?
we should have a committee meeting, in my opinion, on these items.
Agree.
When we get to hear from them. 'Cause
Yeah, and I think that would be my route that I would take is I'll go back with these three and I'll sit down with a good group, maybe not the 40 or whatever, but a good group of stakeholders, and really start, obviously talking to the department and seeing what their needs are as well, and seeing how we can reach an agreement on these three, and then from there we can move forward on to the next.
Sounds good.
Yes?
Yeah.
Any more questions, concerns, comments from the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I believe Ms.
Okay.
Gaetan
Ms.
Oh, has
Gaetan?
some comments.
is, are you able to see her comments on there? You have access
Oh,
to.
it has a chat feature here, let me see
Yes.
if this is activated.
We're out here. I'm new to this also, so.
Oh, here we
it
go,
is.
there we go.
How'd you get in there?
I don't know.
Can you read her comments?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she discusses also the permit for downtown workers. So absolutely, I think maybe meeting one more time, discussing these three topics and then drafting some recommendations on these three topics, and then we can move forward with that. I think that would be ideal.
I apologize for the record, Danny McGee, City Traffic Director, I want to identify myself.
No worries. All right. Ms. Iglesias, thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, item number 5, staff reports. Number 1, Mines Road Super Street concept. Mr. McGee?
So before, sometime communication, would that be before he starts talking? I got a couple emails from a couple of people from the Mines Road in regards to the trucks blocking the traffic. Is that time to talk about it now on those emails that were sent to me, or should I wait?
It's.
You want to move
Mr.
forward, and then
Chairman,
we
have a
can address that? Yes,
Yeah,
We have a
absolutely.
section on
We can-
communication.
Correct.
You can cover it under open
Open
discussion.
discussion,
Open
yes.
discussion, gotcha.
You can move that forward if you want to, Mr. Chairman.
No, I'm good,
Okay.
thank you.
Let me, I do have a presentation I want to show you on the Mines Road. I got these from TxDOT, and I invited them to be here, but they said that they wanted us to have, I guess, an unbiased look at this. And then they want us to take the minutes or whatever comments we have and take them back with any concerns or praises or a combination of both, whatever the case may be. So what I wanted to show you was a couple layout sheets. This is the Mines Road, they call this Super Street concept. There's several cities that have tried this, San Antonio and across the US, San Antonio just being the closest one. I'm not sure it's ever been done on a scale with so many trucks, though. That's what my concern is. And I'm not saying it's not going to work or anything, but I do have a concern about it. What I do want to show you is working from south to north on Mines Road. And just to orient you here is I-69, the old former Loop 20. It's not called Loop 20 anymore. So I'm sorry, I guess Homer's doing that for me. I'm sorry, I forgot to share with Ms. Gaetan. I forgot she's online. Yeah. Thank you, Homer. Alrighty. So she should be able to see it now. Okay. So this is a very interesting change that the Texas is proposing out there. The way this interchange right now is functioning is like a standard diamond where, I'm not sure what here we go, where the frontage roads here on this side, basically they come on, the lefts turn on, and then the traffic has to stop, and then you're able to turn on the other one. Okay. This is called a single point interchange. Okay. What that does is it realigns everything so that the trucks that are turning here, you see how I can zoom in a little bit if you want. What this does, I'm sorry, too much. There you go. It allows the trucks in both directions to turn at the same time, or cars, whatever the case may be. So what that does is it makes it more efficient. You know, basically we have is these two turning left movements at the same time. Okay. What we have out there is called a four-phase diamond. That's one of the most inefficient types of movements that we have out there as far as traffic. So that's a very, I think it's a very good change that we have there. Okay. And I'll proceed northbound. If you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me. There's quite a few changes they're proposing. If you know the Mines Road area very well, this is, right here is the old Milo interchange. They still call it Milo Road. That used to be a TxDOT roadway. It got turned over into a city street. What they're proposing there is to keep the left turn. You can see there's a bay coming southbound, and that'll be able to make a U-turn or take a turn this way. It will channelize this left turn coming out of Milo Road into this channelized area here. I have a concern. I'm going to show you a model. Basically, it's a little movie, an animated movie of what they envision the traffic will be moving at. I have a concern that this usually is filled with cars, trucks, all the way back to Wolf Creek, sometimes all the way back to Killam. So if someone were to take a left turn here, that they're able to move over to the right to get into the queue for the bridge. I have a concern about that. So we'll have to see how that works out, okay? Any questions up to this point?
Well made point.
Okay, so moving northbound here, this is where it gets interesting. They are planning to eliminate, well, I'm gonna go ahead and skip over all the way to Killam, and then I can work my way back just to show you why they're doing these things, okay? As you can see, this is the intersection of Killam Industrial Boulevard, Riverbank Road, and then the lanes going northbound, southbound, okay? As you can see, they've eliminated left turns from any direction. If you're going southbound, you won't be able to turn onto Killam. If you're coming out of Riverbank, you won't be able to turn in this direction.
That's a new proposal?
This is what this super street concept is all about. It basically eliminates all left turns at the major intersections.
Right.
Okay. And what that does, and I'll give you a brief example of how. So you're saying, well, am I supposed to turn around, right? So what they want you to do is to go north. If for instance, if you're coming northbound and you want to turn on Riverbank, you wouldn't turn there. You would come forward, get into this line here. There's a traffic signal there that's coordinated with the other one. And you turn into this, it's called a jug handle. You make your U-turn, and then you head back, and now you make a right turn. Okay, so the left turn, the left turn has been moved to, I'm not sure how to get rid of this thing here.
And they have calibrated this jug hammer with loaded truck traffic? Or were they basing it off of car and vehicle?
That's what I want you to see is that
Okay.
I've asked them to do that. They've taken the great step of modeling this, and I'll show you that at the very end.
Okay.
But a model is only as good as the calibration, okay? Because it's kind of statistics. I can make statistics show you everything, but model, same thing. So I want you to see that, and then I don't want to influence what you're saying, but you'll be able to see how the trucks are reacting, okay? Any questions on this part? It's the same thing going southbound. Remember I said I was going to skip ahead to Killam? So if you want to take a left to Killam, you'll go past the intersection, get into this queue here. you see how there's a lane for left turns? Make the U-turn, go north, and then make your right turn into Killam. Now, what they've done makes it a lot easier, is there's a dedicated right turn going into it. So once you get to that point, there shouldn't be anything blocking your way into it. Okay, so there's a lot of positives to this. You just have to see if the trucks are gonna react that way. Okay, I'll proceed northbound from here. This is where we get to Inter-America. Same concept. On this one though, they have allowed the left turns, because right now we don't have this full interchange here. That's the proposed development, that's still forthcoming. So on this one, they have allowed the left turns.
Two lanes, like it is now.
Yeah. However, there are no left turns coming out of Inter-America.
Ah.
Or if and when this development proceeds, there'll be no left turns out of it. So it'll be the same concept. You'll have to go south, make that U-turn, and go north. And then same thing here. If you want to go south from this street right here, you'll go north, make a U-turn, and come back.
Will they have to acquire additional property to make that turn? From the
Yeah, that's
landowners?
included in part of the project.
That's
I mean, this is being designed. It's a go. The money's allocated. We just have to see about whether we want to recommend or bring any attention to, I mean, this is Texas project, they're proceeding with it.
Right.
They're just giving us a chance to comment on it, to see if there's any little details that they don't know about, that they can incorporate, that kind of thing. But it's on their plans to
Right.
go forward. I don't recall the letting date.
It's gonna happen regardless, so they want
Yes,
input.
Just
they
input.
want our input to say, you know, if we work on it together, what are our recommendations? Okay? Let me, I'll go ahead and go to the second one here. And it's basically the same pattern going up. The next major street is, let me make sure I'm sharing this when this guy's done. Hopefully I am. I guess Homer's doing it for me, great, see him better. Okay. So here we have a continuation. This is just north of Inter-America. And this is Moeller Boulevard, and then something that has to be incorporated into it is that there's a new road being proposed, that's a Vallecillo, that will connect Mines Road to the frontage road on the west side of I-35.
Really?
Okay.
That's nice.
So it's gonna be the same thing there. I mean, they did provide a left turn to go into Moeller, but if you come out of Moeller and want to go north, that's not a very heavy movement, but it's gotta be accounted for. It'll be the same thing. Left turn here, and then go north, and this traffic may be real heavy at one point, once the development is, I guess, is allowed there. It'll take a right, same thing. Okay. So one of my concerns is that these left turns have adequate storage. That's one of the things that I'm asking for, is to show me where the calculations are. Because the last thing we want is these trucks to be spilling back into the through lane.
And the storage needs to be looked at based on the signal timing too. The signal phase will dictate the amount of vehicles that can come out of that storage area. I mean, they need to properly show that. I mean,
Right. And that's why the modeling is so important is, you know, their models show that it works, but if the trucks are going through a turn at 30 miles an hour and they can only do it at 5 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour, of course, that's a lot less trucks.
And going over the curb and
And
breaking the curb.
starting from zero.
Right. I make the joke, the truck, you know, it takes about 10 gears just to get from 0 to 5 miles an hour, so.
Not anymore, they're all automatic.
Okay, so then it gets us to Moeller, and then we have 2 more traffic signals ahead. This is Trade Center, similar concept. What I do like is that they do have this heavy movement turn into here.
That is cool.
They don't make them go past it and come back. They are allowing these 2 left turns in there. This left turn coming out of it, I'm glad to see this. It's a very minor movement. So the few trucks that do need to go north,
Have to go back around.
They have to go. All right, and then the last one here, same concept, is Pan American.
Except they have to go one signal down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's basically the concept there. Let me bring up the video, well, not the video, the modeling.
With respect to the modeling, I think what I would like to have TechDOT provide to the city and to our committee would be to show us a worst-case scenario. What happens if the delay is only 5 seconds versus, or 30 seconds versus 25 seconds?
Right.
Something like that. If there's a longer delay and less vehicles get out, what is going to happen?
Right. In my opinion, because I still haven't looked at a lot of the numbers, regardless of what happens, it's going to be better than what it is now. But my concern is for how long. We have YSCO coming in, and I'm sure there's going to be other warehousing comes in along it. And then not too long after that, the city and county, TechDOT, we're all working together. I think TechDOT's taking it over, but it's that chart within your road. So all that traffic will wind its way, even though it's a couple miles to the north, it's going to wind its way back through this area. So that's my concern is to see if those numbers have been taken into account. Let me see. Okay. Hopefully this works. I know I ran my office and it did work, so. Okay, what I'll do is here I'll stop it just to acclimate you to where we're at. It's the same thing. We're starting from the south. I don't think I have the power or the way to make this a larger, but hopefully you can see it on your screens.
No,
No?
I don't have anything on the screen.
Anyway, I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, Homer did it for me, great. Let me get this out of the way. All right, so this is working from the south, looking north. And this is the Loop 20, the old Loop 20, the I-69 corridor. And you'll see these movements that we talked about earlier, how the trucks are able to turn at the same time. Hopefully they have enough of the animation. And then now we're moving over to Milo. I can stop at any point if you need me to. I think it shows pretty well.
I see there's like one truck to every 100 cars or something.
Yeah, and that's my first thing I noticed is that, there's a bunch of cars. And back when I was with TechDOT, we measured up to 60% trucks in certain areas, certain times of day.
Yeah, because that's not real world.
Yeah, and then, like I said, I don't want to influence you, but look at the way the trucks take those turns and how they speed out of them.
Yep.
Ooh, it's tight.
And you have trucks taking off as fast as cars do. Like I said, it is going to help. We just want to make sure that it's being modeled correctly. So this brings up to, this is kind of the log jam of the whole area, which is Killam, Riverbank, Mines Road. As you can see, the queue that started there is not even half as long as we have out there now. So that's what TechDOT's showing, that these traffic signals will be helping with that.
Yeah, because that's not really realistic to today.
No.
It should be. They're projecting this to 2023 build out.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, the number should be there. I'll just need to see how far they're projecting that it won't go to a
Right.
level service F. Okay.
There's no anticipation or design with respect to all the driveways and the operations of all the facilities on the side, though? I don't see anything that shows any vehicles turning into driveways or anything. They're not looking at any or account for any of that?
They're not modeling that
Okay.
part. Like, for instance, a truck getting into or out of a lane.
Or affecting how it would affect the lane? Okay.
Let me- So this is, I think, just near Inter-America. Let's kill them again. Yeah, for instance, like the truck stop here. Is that what you're asking, Mr. Puig? So I did bring a lot of these things to their attention before, and they said that they were working on those things. So I have no doubt that they're making it a better animation, a better model. So, But TxDOT is committed to this project. It's, I think last estimate I heard was just under $5 million or so. So they are investing.
Well, the need to improve the area is there, and any concepts or thought, detailed evaluation and studies into it is beneficial. I think that's what the direction that we need to be looking at too.
Right,
Correct.
no doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
Correct. Would it be possible to invite TxDOT representatives in case we have any, maybe for our next meeting, Mr. McGee?
I can certainly ask them to be here.
Maybe if you all have any questions, or we can discuss it
Oh,
with
I'd
them, you know,
I'd
just to
like-
kind of.
I'd like them to be here, really.
Yeah. That's what they wanted today, was just for us to talk amongst ourselves
Yes, sir.
and see what questions we have. And then we'll formalize those questions in the minutes, and then we'll get them to them so they can be prepared and come answer those questions.
How quick do they want to start? Because it's the sooner we should, you know.
I'm not sure when this goes to letting, offer bids yet, but they still have some time. So. As far as that, I also asked them to see, they did make a presentation out in the Mines Road area to that section of town. But in many people's minds, including mine, this is more of a citywide issue. I mean, it's a lot of the trucks that benefit and impact the rest of the radar also. So we may be looking to see if council wants to see it, or the MPO, that kind of thing. I asked those questions, and they'll get back to me on that.
Are they looking at it as potential for pilot program? In other words, are they gonna look at a certain section, implement the design, build it, and see how it functions, and
No,
then
this-
move forward? Or are they gonna do,
What we showed you today, that's their whole project.
that's the
Yeah.
whole project?
Yeah. And in a way, it kind of needs to be that way, because they're counting on other intersections taking care of the same thing. If not, they may contribute to the decline of level of service in others, so. Well, as far as that, that's the presentation I had for you. We'll take your questions and formalize them to TxDOT, and then we'll ask them, see if they can be here for the next meeting.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
I'm good.
Questions, concerns regarding item number 1?
No, sir.
I'm thinking we can come up with some questions and then maybe send them, Erica, if you don't, yes?
Yes.
Great. Item number 2, Bartlett roadway diet.
Excuse me, Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, this is Omar Vasquez, IT. Ms. Gactan actually just dropped off the meeting, and I know that you needed her for the quorum. I'm waiting to see if she comes back into the meeting, but she did drop off the meeting at the moment. Oh, she's just restarted the meeting.
She's
I
back?
think she is back.
Okay, great.
I'm thinking we have a possible action on item number 6. Should we bump that up in case
Just in case
Ms.
we do.
Gaitan gets dropped off? In
Yes.
case we need to vote on something?
I move to move up item number 6.
We have a motion, second by Mr. Dickey. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So moving on to item number 6, discussion and possible action of the following ordinance for commercial vehicle.
I'm not sure if it was last meeting, the meeting before that, but we brought to you an ordinance that we wanted to amend to actually 3 ordinances. And this is the one that we want to take to council. And we have a meeting coming up in a couple weeks that, oh, no, this coming council meeting will be on there. So we wanted to, I guess, I wanted to be able to say that the committee got their blessing. It shows, the reason I wanted to show it to you in ordinance view is to show that what ideas you came up with actually go into our laws and how the city. So you're very, very important to how we operate. Norma Ramirez, you want to come up? She can guide you through this. Basically, what I wanted for her to show you was not just the numbers you came up with, but to also contrast and compare to the other ordinances that we have for the other parking violations that we have.
Norma Ramirez for the record. Good evening. Okay, so here, this is a draft of the ordinances with the recommendations that you all gave, on the fines for the commercial vehicles, for the overnight, parking for commercial vehicles, that any type of trailers, RVs, and we have them here. Well, it's the last 4. Yes. So if you see the other fine amounts, the higher one is the parking at disabled parking space, which is $500. Then from there, it's only 20, 25, 40, 50. So these fines that we're gonna take to council on Monday, for the oversized vehicles, is gonna be 125. And that's the highest for a commercial vehicle. Then we're gonna go to commercial vehicle parking in a residential area, $100. And then for the second offense, $200, and then it's gonna be towing. The commercial vehicle more than 10,000 pounds, no parking, no permit and parking on any street. It's 100, 200 and towing. Overnight parking, 100, 200 and towing, and any type of trailer or bigger boat, 50, 150 and towing. We just wanna make sure that, you know, this is the recommendation, and that we're keeping this recommendation, or if there's any changes.
So I've got a question on that. I'm just, Ms. Ramirez, thank you. So on the oversized vehicle shows 125, and it says 10 and 10. What is that?
It's a $10 late fee, and then another $10 late fee. The first one is after 14 days, and the second after 60 days.
I just wanted to add, that wasn't one of the ordinances that we looked at.
We didn't talk about
No,
those,
no,
right?
not that one.
However, we just brought you, to me, the ones that we're having the most trouble with right now.
Okay.
But we do intend to come back to some of the other ones a little bit at a time. We don't want to overwhelm the committee or council, but we do feel that we have other ones we need to address. For instance, I think we mentioned last time that we have a lot of unpaid tickets. There really wasn't a whole lot of motivation for anybody to pay, so that's what I want to incorporate. That is not just, you pay one fine, another fine, and then that's for perpetuity, you never pay any more interest fees or anything. We have to come up with some ideas on that.
Right.
Okay, and then some of these, for instance, parking, obstructing traffic, you have it there? Can you go to it? I'm sure everyone here has been driving on the street where someone just parks in the middle of the street because they're gonna run in and get something. Well, that's very unsafe, and it's very, something you can't do is just park a car in the middle of the street for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever the case may be. So the parking, for that is like $25, $30, if I remember right?
Yes.
Is that there?
Blocking,
Obstructing traffic.
obstructing traffic. It's the double parking.
Do we have that one or
There
not?
you go, $20. So you can park on the street. We don't have.
Yeah, I don't have
$20. I'm sorry?
Excuse me, can
we
they
get
turn
a-
it on the screen here? We can't see
Sure.
it. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, but
I
we
know
don't have
for
that
council
though.
meetings, they do see things there, but we're kind of a. Can you ask?
And if not, we'll just stand behind over here. That's okay.
We might be able to see it straight down in front of us.
Oh, I also have one on there.
I didn't see that.
Only the sheriff.
Okay, yeah.
They'll do it? Okay, thank you.
He can't share?
Only where.
Okay.
Only the chairman, okay. There's only the chairman around here. We're trying to make the
No, I'm just.
the font a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Is that you or what we're doing?
No, no.
Huh? Okay.
Okay.
A lot of these fines, I'm not sure when they were put in, but they were put in many, many years ago, and there's not a whole lot of value to them, I guess, that deters people, so.
So the recommendation there is for that to stay the same, and the only change we're gonna do is
But right
the
now,
ones on the bottom.
we're just concentrated on those.
The
on
bottom,
ones, the
gotcha.
truck parking. As the pictures you sent me earlier attest.
Yes.
We need to start enforcing that a little better.
Okay,
And that's your recommendation?
Yes. Well, that was actually, it was the
Your-
recommendation of the committee.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
so
so
you-
we took your recommendations, and now we will be presenting this to council for them to vote on it.
That's fine. Do we need a motion?
I just have a quick question on the commercial vehicle parked in residential area. Would it be any residential area? For example, if they park their vehicle in a driveway in their personal, would that constitute a
Yes.
fine
for instance, that we have a lot, just this morning, I asked our assembly officer, someone will take a tractor, from a semi, and they'll park it on the street, on their driveway, or even a vacant piece of land. You are not allowed to be in a residential area. And there's reasons for that, is obviously safety, it tears up the streets more than cars do, so there's a lot of different reasons for this.
Even if they say that is their only means of transportation?
Doesn't matter.
Because we've heard that, I mean, I've heard,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
And one of the reasons we haven't been too aggressive with that is we realize that there isn't a whole lot of parking. And that, so we're trying to give them, when we first started enforcing these things, we give a lot of warnings. That's what we did when we started going into the neighborhoods. We gave a lot of warnings, and we still do. We're not trying to make money for the city, we're trying to get enforcement and safety.
So I've got on the oversized vehicle, that fine is for what, if they don't have a travel with the flags in front and back of them, or they don't have the permits, or how are we gonna police that?
Well, actually, that's the key word, the police takes care of that.
Okay, police will, okay.
Yes. And that's something we can explore to see if it is a problem. We brought to you the ones that we thought are a problem right now.
Right.
Residential parking, trailers, et cetera, et cetera. We haven't looked into to see if oversized vehicles are a problem or not, so we will look into that.
Okay.
Our intent is to look at all these and see which ones need to be changed, how we enforce it, the wording, the fine, and if we need to bring others into
Okay.
the mix.
Any discussion from the committee?
What would be classified as an oversized vehicle?
It's more than,
8.5 feet wide, I think, or 9 feet wide?
no, it's 18.
Eight?
Yes. Like those,
Travel trailers?
no, it's like a gooseneck, but that has, like big equipment that it won't fit like on a traffic lane. So it needs like 2 traffic lanes to go through the street.
I know,
Has to use escorts and
Right.
and get a permit if it's gonna be used in city streets and stuff.
It is in the code, I just didn't have it with me.
Okay.
So these, the committee already voted on last time, so I don't think you have to take a vote on it. We just wanted you to see what the actual recommendation is. It's gonna be in the ordinance, I wanted you to see the fruit of your efforts.
for it.
So,
Yes.
okay,
Thank you, Mr.
Good
Hernandez,
job.
thank you. Yes.
Good job, thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
Circling back to item number 5, Bartlett roadway diet.
Did we need to have any action on the ordinance?
I guess unless you feel there's a change that needs to be made. So we take your recommendations, and if you have any doubts or
No.
thoughts.
No, no change. No, we discussed it before.
Okay, just make sure we're sharing that, Homer? Very good. Okay. Again, Danny McGee for the record, City Traffic Director. Council asked us to conduct a study just for Bartlett, basically from Bustamante. Well, actually, we took it all the way to Saunders. Bustamante is the first major intersection we look at, all the way up to Jackman Road. The reason for that is there's been, I guess, questions, concerns, complaints about the fact that we have only one lane in one direction versus another. So what I'm going to show you here is, this has come up before. I'm actually going to show you a presentation that Mr. Eads came up with back in 2018 that it was the same situation. And then at the end, I want to show you the safety numbers to show what we're doing is either working or not working. And then based on that, your recommendation, whether you want me to proceed with council with the presentation we have, or if we want to make any changes, that kind of thing, all right? So with your permission, this was, hopefully, let's see. So I'm not very good at this, so. not sure where you start the presentation on this thing. Homer, do you know how to start putting in presentation mode? Okay. There you go. If not, I can share from there, it's fine. Whether,
Bottom right corner, ain't it, to make a
yeah,
presentation mode?
it doesn't show it to me here on the screen.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay.
It's a little bit different for some reason. Okay, try this. How's that? Is that better?
Yes, sir.
So this is our mission. It's changed a little bit since then, but basically what it comes down to is we want to move people and we want to do it as safe as possible. So there was, back in 2018, same question is why can't we put it back to 2 lanes in each direction? At the time it was converted to just 2 lanes south, 1 lane going north, and there was a continuous left turn lane put in. There was a petition at that time. It was before my time, but that's what I was told was the impetus to have this presentation done and presented to council. First is that they wanted to go back to the original configuration with 2 lanes in each direction, and the traffic department came up with that the traffic hadn't gone down. That's something I want to show you. There was safety issues. It was also that the accidents were down, but enforcement had helped with that because they were enforcing the area a lot better. There was an online petition to change Bartlett back to it, and basically the response that we have is what we continue doing now is that we need to let data drive our decisions, not one person's perception of what's going on. And that's something we're trying to do is take a lot more traffic counts than we used to go out and look at things, not just say, somebody wants this done, let's do it. We want to make sure that we're not negatively affecting a lot of citizens just because one person wanted to change.
So excuse my ignorance, what part of Bartlett are we talking about?
Okay, I'm sorry. So we're talking about Bartlett from Saunders all the way to Jackman.
Okay, north of Saunders, got you, sorry, thank you.
Yeah. And I'll go through the intersections. So this is just basically just to show that as city traffic director, I am allowed and mandated by our ordinances to make those kind of decisions. There is a P after my name. Mr. Brigg has the same thing. He understands the ethics behind that, and that's what we try and do. There's nothing about this that's grandstanding. It's not self-serving. It's all in the effort to serve our citizens the best. Your part in all this, and this is your mandate. I think we've looked at it maybe a few months ago, what the mandate of this commission is. Basically, it's to help us to look at problems in the city, to ways to improve, to advise the traffic department, and more importantly, advise council on those ideas to bring them up to provide a safer and more efficient transportation network in our city. That's what we're trying to do. Okay. So this is where we get into the actual project. At the time, they restriped 4 lanes. There was 2 going south, 2 going north. There were no left turn lanes at the intersections. Okay. So the ADT was less than 25,000, and there is a lot of research these days at road diets. Basically, what road diets is you take 4 lanes, just put 1 lane in each direction, and then you put a left turn lane in the middle. The thinking is when you have 2 lanes going north and 2 south, that people are turning left out of the leftmost one going north and the leftmost one, so you're kind of killing 2 lanes in that. And then people don't expect other people stopping, and so there's a lot of rear end accidents, now you got to cross more territory as you turn left. So there's a lot of thinking why that works, right? On Bartlett Avenue, we've installed many signals. If you know that area, as you go north, we have a traffic signal Bustamante. There's been a call to try and see if we can fit a roundabout in there, take the traffic signal out. But that's something we're still contemplating, and obviously if the funds are available, that's 2 things we got to look at. As you work your way north, you have, actually, let me see if I can, well, I'll bring it up later. You work your way north, you have Bustamante. The next one, you have Calton, you have a traffic signal there. You have Hillside. Now we have a signal at Thomas on the north side, and then Jackman, and then beyond that, we have University. Okay. So these are the funds that were expended back then. We put in all those traffic signals. Traffic signal is an expensive proposition. I mean, it's not the most expensive thing in the world, like a road, but it does require about $200,000 or so for the design, construction, and then that's not even accounting for the long-term maintenance of it. I mean, the traffic poles don't last forever, and there's a computer running all this, and that doesn't last forever. So there's a traffic signal, when we take it on, we have to factor in the maintenance in the long term. You know, we have to have technicians that are trained to work on those things, and et cetera, right? There's, I think I have it in here. Actually, on the second PowerPoint I'm going to show you, I want to explain a concept called, well, let me not go there. In the second PowerPoint, I'll bring it up to you. Okay. It was made safer. There was a lot less accidents, and I'll show you those numbers in a minute. Travel times actually improved. There's been times I drive it, and it makes it a little bit safer because sometimes there's somebody going 30 miles an hour at the speed limit in front of you, and you can't zip around them. So it's lowered speeds. Our traffic is a lot better controlled because of that. You know, the lane, there aren't people zipping in one lane and out and zigging and zagging their way through Bartlett. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Let me turn this one off, and I'll show you. These are the numbers that were presented back to council back in
2018.
2018. So let me show you the new numbers. We have those here. Let me collapse this down here. Okay. Are we sharing that, Homer, still? Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually work my way up Bartlett again, starting from Bustamante, which is just the first signal after Saunders. Just a second, he's trying to share with Ms. Gaetan. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to show you each intersection is about 4 or 5. There is one constant. If you see the red numbers in the back, those are the total numbers for that year. And then what the blue numbers represent are the crashes, accidents at that particular intersection. For instance, in 2015 at Bustamante, there was a total of 48 accidents. That's what this number up here is showing. Out of those 48, 18 of them happened at Bustamante. Okay. As you can see the trend, we started out with 48, down to 31 total. In this particular intersection, 18, 11, 7, 10. This year, of course, we're just in July, so the year is not over. But this year, we only had 2 accidents. Okay? So each slide that I'm going to show you, it's the same thing.
2020 is how many in the blue?
6.
Six?
6. Yes.
So we're already at 2 here, coming in 2021, right?
Right. But as you can see, the total number of accidents, right here, where my cursor is moving,
Yes, sir.
that's where the work was done.
Wow.
So since 18, we went down from 30 total for the whole corridor, and went down to 20 and 19. So we've kind of stabilized at about 20 accidents. And we've had 9 this year, so if you kind of double that for the rest of the year, we're probably at 20.
Right.
Compared to 48 back in 2015. So we're at less than half of the accidents. That's what I wanted to show you. So here we have the same thing at Calton Road. Okay, like I said, the red will be the same for all these slides. What changes is the green.
Wow.
Okay, the next one we want to show you is Hillside. Same trend. There was a high of 15 in 2017. It went 9, and 1, 2, and 1. Thomas Avenue, this is close to our office where it comes in. The truck route matches into there with Gale. Same thing. Numbers are lower. And this is all the way to Jackman Road. But if I flew through that too fast, let me know, I can go back to any of these lanes. Okay. What I did want to show you, this is the concept, I didn't want to get too far ahead of the game. It's called a yellow trap. I think I've mentioned it before, but that's a situation we had. Let me zoom in real quick. Here. This is what Bartlett used to look like, okay? Well, without the left turn lane, obviously. What happens there is that when you have 2 lanes going north, 2 lanes coming south, okay, you have to turn the light off for somebody to make left turns, okay? What you do is the people coming south, you turn that one off, but you still have the left turn signal on with a light on, and the people on the north keep going now. Well, the person going south, he's got a green ball there, and he doesn't know if it's shut off for the other people or not. So he gets a yellow, but the other people are still moving. He gets a yellow, and what were we taught back in the days of defensive driving in school? When you get a yellow, that's when you turn, right?
Punch it.
Yeah. But the fact is, people going north haven't been given a red.
Right.
So that's what the yellow trap is. So that's the reason you see a lot of the intersection accidents having gone down quite a bit. Because that's the situation that we had caused. So when we put all these traffic signals up, Bustamante, Calton, Hillside, Jackman, we got rid of the yellow trap. So is that the preferred way of doing it? No, the preferred way would have been go out and buy more right of way and get me another lane in the middle. But due to budget, right of way constraints, whatever the case may be, this was done at the time for safety purposes. You know, if we try to maybe wait for a CIP to get us some money for right of way, it could have taken years. So as you saw, 48 accidents is nothing to sneeze at.
No.
So especially when we're down to 20. So we have to pick convenience, a little bit of capacity versus safety. And I think the numbers speak for themselves.
I think safety should win all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially since we are a Vision Zero city that's been committed by City Council, that is mandated. You know, we don't even have the choice to say we're not going to be that.
Right.
Mr. McGee, and they want to revert back to the old, is that what's happening, or is?
I'm not sure if anybody in particular is saying, let's go back to it. This
Okay.
council just wanted me to present a study.
Okay.
We have a lot of new council members. Things get forgotten over time. That's the reason I wanted to show you the old presentation.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to update that, but I just want to show the committee here
Thank you.
what
This-
that was looked at before, but it will be updated to reflect what we have out there and the new numbers.
Thank you, Mr. McGee. I mean, it's obvious that it worked. You know,
Yeah, it
the-
does work.
The numbers went down, and it's good work.
When we're putting together the Viva Laredo master plan, I was part of a lot of the meetings. And a lot of people think, and I know this from those meetings, that 2 lanes each way are faster. Actually, your efficiency, and you said it already, your efficiency is much better. I mean, this is not the first time I've heard it, and it's true. It's great. It's smart.
Like I said, there's always other alternatives, but sometimes we're hampered by right-of-way, costs, just something that can be implemented faster, that kind of thing. So that's what we have to, as engineers, we have to balance.
Maybe you can't get in another lane and drive like a bat out of hell, but you know, that's ni modo.
And it does help us with our,
Yeah.
and I'm going to put the quote, speeding issues.
It's safer.
Yes, it is. Yes. It's good work.
That concludes my presentation. Any questions on that?
No, I'm-
Discussion, questions from the committee?
No, sir.
No.
Thank you, Mr. McGee.
Thank
Item
you
number
very much.
3, yes, that's great work. Item number 3, don't block the box.
That one I put on the agenda just last minute. If you don't mind, we'll table that. Council has already voted on that. I'll bring those back to you. What I wanted to show to you was just the locations that we're going to pick. I don't have a map showing you, so I want to come back with that.
Sure, I'm okay with that. Okay
Yeah.
with that.
Do we need the motion on that, or we don't need to do anything?
I don't think we need a motion
I
on
don't think
that.
so.
No,
No?
I don't think so, yeah. So just here
It's
for that,
understandable.
yes. All right. Question number 6, we discussed that already. Number 7, discussion and possible recommendation of the following. We have nothing there. Item number 8, open discussion. Mr. Gonzalez, you said you had some
Yeah,
emails.
yeah,
Go
thank
ahead,
you.
sir.
I got a couple of emails, and I'm gonna share.
May I say something just real quick?
Yes, sir.
We didn't put any agenda items for open discussion. I did talk to our legal team just to make sure we're subject to the Texas Open Meetings Act. We can have a brief discussion on these items, no action
But no
will be
action to be
taken.
taken.
No, not too much detail, just so that we can bring them up and then we can put them on the next agenda.
Absolutely, yes, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll just pass it out, just so you can look, do you, Mr. McGee, would you like one just to see what we're looking at?
I have your pictures.
Okay, so basically ABF Freight and you have Goodyear there on 11802 Mines Road. And, it's
I
used
think
by them.
this one's, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yes,
This
sir.
is a million words or
Yeah,
so.
so that right there is actually just about a block away from where the entrance is into these two businesses, and there's multiple businesses that are getting blocked. So ABF is one of the fewest Teamster carriers that they pay their drivers really well. And for them to be stuck in that line for hours on end where they can't turn in. So what he came to me and he said, okay, I'll read the email real quick from one of them. It says, Cito, as part of the Transportation and Traffic Safety Advisory Committee, can you see what options we have when it comes to controlling the traffic at the entrance to our facility? As you are aware, our entrance is right on the part of Mines Road where the traffic comes to a halt. This makes it real difficult for our drivers to go in and out of our yard, and it also makes it difficult for our employees to go in and out of the yard. If we put a sign, and this is what I'm getting at, if it's possible for them to put a sign that says, please do not block entrance, and is that an enforceable thing that somebody can take at, and the city could look at? If they go through the expense and put alto in Spanish and English, stop, and it's about a good 25, 30 foot where the trailer's going in and out.
Subject what I said before is, please send me that email, and then
Okay.
I'll take that to TxDOT.
Okay.
And then if we need to have an agenda item, I'll get back with you and we'll do that.
Perfect. I've got 2 emails. I'll forward them to you all, carbon you guys in on it, and then we could go from there.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Uh,
Any other items, open discussion?
No, sir. Not on my part.
I would encourage you, if, anything you want to bring to us, we do have is it 72 hours before? So if our meeting's on Wednesday, we have them till 5 o'clock or 4, we prefer 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock to put it on the agenda. So just give us a call and we'll gladly put it on the discussion or anything that needs action or discussion.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
And that would be Ms. Erica? That would be Ms. Erica. We have an
Yes.
agenda item, that would be, okay, great.
Or you can call me too, whichever's more comfortable for you.
Great, thank you. And moving forward, we are gonna have our meetings now officially here at council chambers?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't have anything else. Gentlemen,
I'm good.
we're good?
Yes, sir.
All right, do we have a motion to?
And just for the record, thank you
Yes.
very much. I know it takes a lot to get to these meetings, but these
Thank you.
matters are
Thank
very
you, sir.
important.
Thank you and your
transportation for
staff.
the
Thank you
city.
very much.
Scott, you did a
Thank
great
you very
job on
much.
the
Yes, I
presentation.
appreciate that. Thank you, Erica, everything. Yes, thank you very much. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I so move.
Motion by Mr. Dickey, any second by Mr. Puig. All in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
There, and any opposed? Motion carries, meeting adjourned.